Howdy, folks. Not Jay from Not Jay's Tabletop Gaming, and we are going to be talking about what to do after we've got our scenario selected, our miniatures selected and painted, and our scenery brought together and ready to go. And that's playtest. Got to make sure that what you envisioned in the scenario is A, feasible, it's actually doable, and two, it'll actually work. How you do this is playtest uh, many times. Take it to your local game store and get some people to help you playtest it. Uh, Playtest it on your own. Uh, get your buddies to come over to the house, whatever. But you've got to make sure that you test out the scenario. Make sure that the objectives you've set are going to be viable objectives. In other words, let's say you've decided you need to get side A moved from one side to the other side of the board, and they're going to go the long way, and you've got it set on a 6x4 table, and you say you got to do it in 8 moves, but you can only move 6 inches per turn. That's not going to give them. There's no way that they're going to be able to win the scenario because you haven't given them enough time, enough turns to go 12 moves when you're only giving them 8 turns. They're only able to go 4 feet, and that's if they don't get stopped, or it's a variable movement type of a game, or anything like that. So make sure that the objectives you've selected for the the two sides, if there's only 2 sides, there could be 3 sides, whatever. But make sure the objectives you've selected are doable. And that's why I normally don't like to go with moving from one side of the table to the other. I like to have the scenarios be a little something different. Go grab the MacGuffin, or get to point A and make something happen at point A with a skill test, that type of thing. But again, make sure that it's something that you can do. Also, with the table setup, this is in most cases, these are war games, so there's going to be shooting. So you need to make sure that you've got enough, enough terrain for the guys to hide behind. You don't want to have an open field out there with nothing to hide behind. Now you could have a short one for them to cross as part of the objective, but don't have just a flat table out there with nothing to hide behind. So yeah, playtest. If I can't say anything other about getting ready for running a convention game, playtest that sucker. Make sure that the miniatures look good. Make sure the table looks good. Make sure you know the rules enough. Enough of the rules that are going to be used in the scenario. When creating scenarios, sometimes there's special rules that you might have added. Make sure those work. Make sure they're not too overpowering, or to give that team a weakness that can be overly exploited. There's nothing wrong with a weakness as long as it can be offset somehow to still be able to obtain their objective. So test it. That's the number one thing. That way you know it inside and out. So when you present it to your players at the convention, that you are confident with what you're presenting. You're confident that your miniatures look great. You're confident that the table looks good. You're confident that the objectives aren't too difficult to obtain. Because that's the worst thing is, you get there, your table looks great, you know the rules inside and out, the miniatures are beautiful, but you hand out the objectives and immediately the players are starting to say, man, I can't win this. There's no way for me to get the objective done. I guess the only way I can do it is just to kill everybody. Well, I mean, that's a way to do it, but and I know some players out there that are like that. We know who you are, McMurray, but that try to make the objectives fun. Try to make the objectives be an incentive to do things other than just, shoot and kill. Which, that's good too, but, have some fun with your objectives and make sure that they're able to be achievable. So, playtest, playtest, playtest. Know it inside and out. Make sure everything runs smoothly. Make sure you can get it done in the time frame of 3.5, 4 hours, however long the convention gives you to run a session. That includes a pre-game briefing explaining the game to how it's played, how the rules work, etc. Handing out the objectives, giving the players enough time to look at the objectives and kind of make a little bit of a strategy on the side. So do all of that as part of your playtesting. It all goes into it. And once you've played it 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times and you've got it down, you'll be ready to pack everything up and get to that convention. So that's next step, going to the convention. And we'll cover that in the next part. Until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.